Welcome back to Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm dear darling, and shall we see what's going on a lovely island of Fawnhallow today in a very late night episode. For good reason. I was essentially busy, unexpectedly busy this entire evening. But yeah, I mean, it was a very fun time. I'll probably talk about it more tomorrow when I actually record, I suppose, more in the daytime, so I actually speak. But good evening, everyone. I'm here with a late night broadcast. I hope I can make it through this. But right now on Fawnhallow, it's 1:20 AM on Friday, October 17th. Sorry, should be Thursday, October 16th, 2025. But yeah, what am I going to talk about? You know what I can talk about? I can talk. If you've been following on from the Animal Crossing episodes, you might notice or note or remember that I was like, I have lost my headphones. And the headphones I thought I lost were after I went out with some friends. I put them in my coat pocket, but it was a different coat from usual. I thought they must have fallen out. Excuse me. While we were playing mini golf essentially, because I took off my coat and then sort of handed it around and stuff. So I was like, okay, it must have fallen out. Turns out, it didn't, because I remember when I was trying to look for them again, I was so sure I brought them back. I swear I remember having them after I came back, because I was like, I think I even listened to music on the way back, but when I was like, oh, maybe I'm remembering wrong because it's not in any of the usual locations I would have put. It wasn't where I would usually put it in my coat, it wasn't in my bag, it wasn't on my desk or anywhere else hidden away that I could reasonably find. So I was like, okay, the only conclusion I have is they must have fallen out somewhere, or I must have dropped them, lost them at some point, which, certainly disappointing, but at the end of the day, not a big deal, because those headphones were very cheap headphones. Not very cheap, but cheapish headphones, I think. I think they were Tozo T10. How much were they? In my head, they were £12, £25. Okay, maybe a bit more expensive than I thought. But I think I got them on sale, maybe. I'm not, don't quote me on that. But yeah, I was like, okay, I took out a sign to basically be like, well, I've been meaning to get better wireless earbuds for a while now, so why don't I take the opportunity to now actually get some proper good ones. So I got some, I forgot what the brand is called. It doesn't even say on here. It's, oh my gosh, I can't remember what it's called, but it's a brand that Anchor do. And I got that brand because I was like, okay, this is pretty good. It's highly recommended. Oh, Soundcore, that's what it's called. Highly recommended. Then there's some faff of delivery where I ordered it and first time it wasn't there, so I got a refund and I ordered a better version. But no joke, the day, which was 2 days ago, also I was actually going to, I actually did probably use them. Later that evening, I essentially found those headphones again. It was unbelievable. They apparently, not apparently, but they were on literally just a random windowsill. A very weird place for me to put them, because I was like, why on earth did I ever put them there? And I don't know necessarily. I think I must have grabbed something in the room. I probably didn't have enough. I was probably holding my headphones or something, and I didn't have enough hands to carry this as well. So that's my guess. It's I put it down, and then I just forgot to pick them back up again because I didn't realise I was even holding them in the first place. So yeah, I found my headphones. They're currently just on my shelf, and I was like, okay, I'll just use these as a spare, because I've been using these other headphones. They're very good. Turns out the transparent mode actually very cool and useful. But the noise cancelling is too eerie for me, unless I really, really want to lock in. But I'm surprised at how good it just basically blocks out all sound, and I was like, whoa, okay. Yeah, so that ended up happening. Where my headphones basically did not end up being lost, but they were just on a random windowsill somewhere. But I'd already started using these new ones, so it's like, okay, most headphones I guess will be my backup headphones or something. What am I going to do for the rest of it? I don't know. I haven't really thought about it very, to be honest. But And I could be more annoyed, to be fair, because it can be a frustrating situation to be like, oh yeah, here you are, you finally like, you thought you lost something, you thought something went, and then okay, well, whatever. But then you find it again, literally have a moment where you like buy a replacement or something. Obviously, not the worst thing in the world, but suddenly you're just like, ain't that a bit annoying, you know? Ain't that a bit much? Where you're just like, I'm trying to think, because there's not been many times where it's happened. Because I feel like I'm usually pretty good at knowing and understanding, you know, having a good vibe. Like, I trust my memory a lot, so sort of like, a lot of times I'll be like, oh yeah, I know this is somewhere, I just don't know exactly where it is, and I will commit to finding it more. But this time, I was actually pretty unsure. Because in my mind, I was pretty sure that like they must have been somewhere, but they weren't in any sensible location, and I genuinely had no idea where else I would have put them. I had no memory of that. So I was just like, okay, I think the only conclusion I could have drawn is I must have lost them at some point. Which, you know, happens. You know, I'm not going to fault myself for being human, or assuming I was human. I was just like, okay, yeah, they must have been destroyed, lost, somewhere, at some point. But weirdly enough, I'm not going to learn the wrong conclusion for this, but I was actually, you know, that was actually the false thing to do. It turns out I was correct in my initial assumption, which is I did have them somewhere. They were just somewhere not exactly evident off the top of my head. So, yeah. I don't really know what else to say to that. It's sort of like I can't believe I ended up finding them again later. Again, it's not a big deal in the slightest. But it's the sort of thing where it's like, oh yeah. What else is I going to talk about? Yeah, I don't know, just like sort of finding something again and having to replace it. I don't know, I feel like it should be more, I should perhaps be more frustrated at it than I actually am. Because generally I'm not at all frustrated, I'm just sort of like, oh, well, it's kind of like a funny moment if anything. And I guess I'm not frustrated because I'm just like, where they were was so random, like tucked behind a curtain on a random windowsill. It was genuinely such a weird, obscure place for me to put it that I can't even blame myself for thinking it lost. Because I'm also just like, why would I even put them there in the first place? And you know what, I have a reason, I don't know if it's plausible. It's literally just my best guess of being like, okay, if I were to put it there, I guess this might be the only reason I could think of why I would do that. So yeah. What is lost can be found once more. I guess it's nice, if anything, that, you know, they have been found, that they're not lost forever or anything like that. It would be a bit of a shame, because the thing that like definitely struck me as odd was like, I felt like I would have noticed if I lost my headphones, you know? I would have noticed them like falling out or something, or like as I was leaving, you know, I sort of like instinctively, you know, like check my pockets, or I would have put my hands in my pocket and be like, where do my headphones go? I don't know how committed I'd be to trying to find them or something, but maybe at least I would ask like Odie, or like a lost property box or something. Did someone find some headphones and hand them in? And again, I don't think I'd be all that torn up about it, because again, they're not that expensive, to be honest. So it's sort of like I guess in the long run it's not really that big a deal. And I'd already accepted I lost them, so finding them again was like, oh, I guess that works, you know? Yeah. So I feel like my heart right now, not my heart, but like I've got like my stomach feels very iffy right now. trying to think of other times that I thought I lost something, order replacement, I found it. It's very difficult to think off the top of your head for this sort of thing, as most of the times I try and talk about a topic and be like, when's the other time I've done this? When is another time that I ended up ordering something I ended up already having? I'm not really sure, I can't really think of a time, to be honest. I'm sure it happens all the time though. I feel like it's probably a relatively common thing to run into. To be like, oh yeah, I guess I'll get this. You know what does happen a lot, I think, is more like grocery shopping or something. If I don't keep a good track, I suppose, of items, that I think is definitely during university, because like the grocery store was essentially next to where I had lectures, but I lived like a decent walk away from this place, so most of the time I would go, we'd go to lectures, and after lectures I would go to a grocery store and buy my groceries, then return back to my accommodation. But of course I didn't always know exactly off the top of my head which things I was missing or not, so sometimes I go back and go to a store and be like, oh yeah, I need to pick up bananas, and I go back and be like, oh, apparently I thought about like already yesterday and now I have like way too many bananas or something random like that. Again, it's not that big a deal, because it just sort of means, oh, I just don't buy more. Certainly a bit worse with bananas, which tend to expire a lot faster than some other foods, but yeah, that's kind of that, to be honest. Excuse me, so it's quite late, so you have to forgive me for being a little bit tired. Yeah, what else to say about it? I don't know. I think it'd probably be easier to be a bit more upset by if it was something either that's not your fault or really expensive or something, but this one was like, it was very much my fault, understandable, my own reaction to it, and also not that big a deal in the end, so it didn't really end up mattering much. But I don't know, like sort of conceptually thinking about this idea of like having to reorder something and then being like, oh, didn't need to in the first place, it sounds like it's more annoying in my head than it actually is. Yeah, so that's that basically. You might be like, what do you think of new headphones? I think the new headphones are really good. I do like the different modes, and they do sound actually significantly better. So even if I didn't lose my headphones, probably this is something I would have done sooner or later, or knowing results I should have done sooner or later anyway. So I don't know. A sheep in wolf's clothing. It was a good thing disguised as a bad thing in the end. A diamond in the rough, that's probably what phrase you would actually use, Yeah, what else to talk about regarding it? I don't really have much else, I don't think. I'm trying to think of another time. I think I've done a few like reordering like clothes of items I already had. Like there was one time where I was just, I bought some like exercise shorts or something, and a skirt or something, because I was like, yeah, why not? And then I was in the store and I saw a skirt or something, and I was like, while I was buying up clothes, and being like, oh yeah, I needed to get me one of those, so I bought it, and now I have like 2 skirts or whatever, which is fine. I just like, you can alternate using them, I suppose. But that is sort of like a doubled up redundancy, isn't it? It's not like I literally needed both of them like that, but at least for my level of activity, so yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess for an insurance purposes, not like a literal financial insurance, but like the generic term for insurance as a backup purposes, it's nice to have multiple copies of things, right? Even if you reorder them, even if you didn't need it. Now that's just better, right? What harm is it going to do? Anyway, on that note, I think I'm going to wrap this episode up here, because it's quite late. And yeah, I have nothing else to say about this topic. So, if you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been Dear Darling. Likes, comments, subscription, shares, greatly appreciated. Socials, Discord down below. Hope to see each other again, but for now, it's our farewell. So until next time, bye for now.